All right, let's move on to the personal touch. And I'm hoping by now you've got the idea that I believe the personal touch is very, very important. So it's important that people feel that they're not just numbers, that you're letting them in a little bit, and that you're human. You're not just interested in their wallets. And when we're talking again about the press releasing, where you're simply just blasting out offers all the time and that's all you're doing, you're looking like you're just interested in their wallets. So we really need to not look like that. So to get a bit of a personal touch, you could tell people a bit about what you've been doing. People, I mean, this helps you, helps people get to know you a little bit. But it's also good for recruiting, because there are people reading a newsletter who might be thinking in the back of their head that joining might be something that they might do. So they're going to get an idea about what your life's like in your business. Keep it light and fun though, and short. But over time there are some people who might want to start to be part of it. Make sure that whatever you share is not private. There's a difference between private and personal. Personal is okay as long as it's not oversharing, but private is a no-no. Nobody wants to know about your private life. All we're trying to do is let people feel that they know you a little bit and have a bit of a relationship with you. So include some things every now and again that you've been doing with the company for those people that might be looking at joining the business. And make sure you share some human stories that people can relate to. If we're trying to create a connection, we're trying to get people to relate to us. So, funny little story about one of your children that said something funny. People actually do relate to that, because a lot of people have little children. Not too much, but little things like that can be actually quite interesting. And you'll be surprised when you go to a party when somebody who's read your newsletter pipes up and asks you a question about whatever it was that you shared in the newsletter. So it's not about showing off, and it's not about talking about things that other people won't be interested in. It's just about trying to talk about things that people feel they can relate to, that make them feel like that you're just like them. Because we can only create a connection if people feel like there's some similarities. Another way you can create a bit of a personal touch is to do a frequently asked questions type of section. You'll get a whole lot of questions as you do your parties and from when you do your customer care calls and those sorts of things. You'll get some common questions. Now you can be sure that there are lots of people that have the same questions, but they don't ask because maybe they think the question's too silly. So you can use your newsletter to answer those questions. And they're going to be really happy to see them as well, the answers, and it's going to help your customers get better use from your products as well. So the reason it produces a bit of a personal touch is for the person who's sitting there really wondering about something, doesn't want to ask you, and then up pops the answer, they feel really very happy about that. It's almost like you're speaking to them. You can do a survey. You could do a survey and ask people, what do you want to read about in your newsletter? Or you can do a survey, what's your favorite product, or what's the most creative use you've had for a product. You can ask them all sorts of things, and you can have a prize for people who answer the survey within a week, or something like that. People seem to like doing surveys. There's a program that you can find on the internet called SurveyMonkey, and that will run the surveys for you and give you all the results. It's also free, and it's also integrated with MailChimp. It's nothing to do with MailChimp, but it's integrated with it so it can work with MailChimp. And you can stick a survey in. Now, if you do a survey and you don't get any response, don't let that put you off. Don't forget that nobody knows that nobody else responded. So just do it. Don't suddenly stop if you feel it's not working. Do another one a few months later. Maybe people are just needing to get used to you or used to your newsletters. But just always remember that nobody knows if there haven't been any responses. Sometimes you just have to keep going, and then you will start to get people feeling a little bit more confident about doing things. You can also ask for feedback through your newsletter and thank them when they give it. If it's appropriate, you could even put something about that in the next newsletter. If the feedback is appropriate and it's something that everybody might like to know about, you can thank the person publicly. When you use somebody's name in your newsletter, though, make sure you don't put their full name for privacy reasons. Just use their first name, and it's probably appropriate to ask for permission. If they don't want you to use their name at all, then just say, you could just say something like, I had an email from a customer last week and this is what it said, and thank you for your feedback. You don't need to use the name at all, but it does feel personal when you use somebody's names. You can also use testimonials. You know, often people that are really happy with your products or happy with your service or happy with anything, they might be happy to give you a testimonial, and you could put that in, and quite often they'll be very happy for you to use their name. But make sure you ask again. Now, if you have objections that keep coming up all the time at your parties, make sure that you try and get some testimonials that answer those objections. So if people are saying all the time, I don't have time to have a party, get a testimonial from somebody, a host who said they didn't have time to have a party, who then went ahead and had one and had a great time, and see if you can get a testimonial from that person. It's going to actually change some people's minds, or start to work on some people's minds that hadn't previously thought about having a party.